Articuno trainers, let's see what these Masters Finals trainers have been thinking going into the matchup. It's going to be Hisuian Arcanine and Raging Bolt coming out for Nikhil Reddy, and it's going to be the Landorus from Aurelian alongside, I believe, the Ogerpon Half-Flame Mask, and he's done it. They've done it. Aurelian has brought the Landorus in the face of the chills coming out from Nikhil's side.
Yeah, and what a lead as well. Looking at that, that's threatening a lot of damage into both of those slots. Nikhil's Pokemon can't protect either. They have to go onto the Terra or switch out if they're going to try and survive whatever Earth Power might be coming out here. And Aurelian doesn't need to Terra its Landorus any more either than Nikhil can. So, like, honestly, Aurelian's in such a good position just with that Landorus lead. And I'm guessing Nikhil was maybe thinking Aurelian wouldn't lead it, as you say, Charlie, in the threat of the double ice that could have been out this turn instead. And the Ogerpon Half-Flame also in a decent position too. It's going to be able to outspeed both of these options as well. So the question is, can this Raging Bolt survive an Earth Power with that Assault Vest though?
Mind games upon mind games as the Arcanine retreats back to its trainer. Alolan Ninetales coming in instead, setting up the snow. It's going to be boosting up its own defenses. Ogerpon is going to be going Hedgehog mode, going for Spiky Shield right now, keeping itself safe. Earth Power connecting down into the Alolan Ninetales. That is a lot of damage. It's brought down very low. Of course, the snow only gives it a physical defense boost rather than a special defense boost. That's Draco Meteor plummeting down, but it lands into the spiky bunker of the Ogerpon.
So defensive play from both ends, along with an attack as well. But of course, Nikhil didn't have Protect as an option, so Ninetales takes so much damage, and it looks like it might go down here as well. No Aurora Veil to speak of for the rest of this game for Nikhil.
That is Ninetales already down. Aurora Veil is going to be wafting its way off the battlefield, leaving this Raging Bolt in the face of an Earth Power. Ooh. That's a lot of damage onto the Raging Bolt. Even with the Assault Vest, you can see the Life Orb paying dividends there.
It's a miss as well.
Is going to be dodging the Draco Meteor. This is not going well for Nikhil here.
No, it's not. That's heartbreaking. 90% accurate is not 100, unfortunately, and that is a big miss. However, Articuno is now in exactly the weather it loves being in, and so Nikhil still has the opportunity to kind of get a little bit of luck for his own if a few attacks miss into that Articuno.
Right, but then the Articuno in this snow can be dishing out those blizzards, and with Rillaboom and Landorus on the field, both of them would be taking super effective damage. Got to be tempting to click that Terra Ice button even when the back is against the wall and there is some Terra of some kind coming out here. It's going to be heading straight into the Articuno. It's becoming even more glittering than it once was. It's got a lovely chilly snowflake above its head, and it's here to freeze its surroundings. Let's see what the Blizzard is going to be able to do after the Thunderclap comes out, of course, into a switch. Seems not to be doing anything to that Rillaboom. It's Earth Power coming out next into the Raging Bolt. It's just the Articuno. There's Arcanine that's going to be coming in from the back, but it's going to be much safer without the Landorus on the field. If the Blizzard is going to get the KO, here it comes. It's Terra Ice. It's going to hit both Pokemon. They're taking two. It's a double knockout onto the Landorus and the Rillaboom. Articuno sitting pretty on the field, and just like that, Nikhil has evened up the score. It's 2 Pokemon apiece.
Charlie, that Articuno is popping off so hard at the moment here at the Utrecht special event, and that's a double KO there. That is Landorus and Rillaboom completely gone. I'm so surprised actually Aurelian didn't maybe go for a defensive Terra, or maybe a substitute on, or maybe a Taunt on the Landorus instead, like to be able to take that hit. I'm guessing they just did not expect that Blizzard coming straight out of the gate there. But Aurelian is now with 2 Pokemon versus 2 Pokemon. We've seen Aurelian take so many Pokemon down, even when their back has been against the wall. So let's see if they can do it this time. And we can see the locking in of the Terra on this Ogerpon, which makes a lot of sense too. It outspeeds both of these options as well, and is threatening a lot of damage.
The Intimidate has come straight in with their Hisuian Arcanine. It's going to be boosting up its attack back to neutral, the Ogerpon, if it does indeed go for the Terra. Articuno is my favorite legendary, and it is so thrilling to be seeing it have such a fantastic showing here. It's time for the Terra. Aurelian deciding that Ogerpon, it's time to go big or go home. Its mask is gleaming on the field. It's going to be bringing its attack back up to neutral. It's threatening big fire-type damage into the Articuno, and it's going to be activating its Embody aspect right now. How is the turn going to shake out?
So it's a very safe Ivy Cudgel into that Articuno slot, which doesn't resist it. Extreme speed, a last-ditch attempt before it goes down, potentially this turn as well.
There's no Aurora Veil, but there is a defense boost from the snow. It's going into the Articuno.
It survives!
It hangs on such low HP, but the close combat double-up is going to secure the knockout onto the Articuno. It's just the Hisuian Arcanine 9. Arcanine now. So excited.
But the close combat defense drops means now that this Arcanine can most likely get a KO on this Urshifu if it so chooses to. And of course, there is the ability for it to protect as well. And the Ogerpon, though, still threatens so much damage as well, with a Wood Hammer again into that slot. However, there's not much for Aurelian to lose here, but as you can see, going for a double protect, making sure the Pokemon stay a little bit healthier.
Right, getting a little bit of passive grassy terrain recovery, soaking up all the nutrients that Rillaboom so kindly provided on the field with that Meadow. Arcanine is going to be going for that extreme speed and targeting into the Urshifu, so it won't be taking any recoil damage from the spiky shield set up by Ogerpon.
And the snow is gone as well. Not that it makes a difference anymore now. The Articuno and Ninetales are both gone. But Urshifu's a little bit more healthy. It may even now be out of the range of an extreme speed, depending on how much damage it does this turn. And there's a Follow Me, keeping that Urshifu nice and safe, so it can immediately get that close combat, which will be super effective into that slot.
Yeah, and extreme speed brings Ogerpon down to about half health. There's Wicked Blow rather than the close combat, bringing the Arcanine down incredibly low. This is now valuable time for Nikhil to reconsider the game plan heading into Game 2. The thrills and chills that Nikhil has been providing already cannot be underestimated, but it will be Aurelian Soula keeping that Urshifu nice and safe as the Hisuian Arcanine is forced to extreme speed right into the Ogerpon.
Yep, and it's still not a KO as well, so Aurelian playing this very nicely. Arcanine goes down, Aurelian takes this Game 1 and is one game away from taking the championship.
It cannot be overstated that Aurelian Soula would be the first player in Pokemon history to have this record in a special event, a championship of this level that we have in the Pokemon circuit. One game away from taking that, but Nikhil Reddy here with the Articuno and potentially able to get some freezes down on the board. The fact that Articuno was able to survive there was huge, and Aurora Veil would have been fantastic if it had been able to be set up. Nikhil now has valuable information, though, heading into Game 2.
Yes, incredibly valuable information, knowing how much damage everything does, etc. And now we know the Ogerpon as well is obviously faster than the Arcanine as well. Because interestingly, Follow Me and Extreme Speed have the same speed priority bracket. Yeah. So if Arcanine is naturally faster than a Pokemon that is using Follow Me, you can get around it and get Extreme Speed off beforehand.
Really good point.
But because this Ogerpon is naturally fast, as we've been talking about, and it's been really good with how fast it is, it's able to keep its partners safe even from extreme speeds.
Right, so Follow Me going off first, paying huge dividends there for Aurelian. Now, the Landorus and the Rillaboom were bought, even though they take so much damage from ice, and that worked out really well for Aurelian there, and that really threw a spanner in the works for Nikhil. And how is Nikhil going to be adapting here? So the four that Aurelian brought in that previous game, Ogerpon, Half Flame, the Rillaboom, Urshifu, and the Landorus. Is Nikhil going to be predicting the same? Is it going to be something slightly different? Let's find out. This could be the last game here at the Utrecht special event. It's Articuno and Alolan Ninetales, the two chilly buddies paired next to each other with Ogerpon, Half Flame, and the Landorus Incarnate.
So a complete switch up for Nikhil, which makes a lot of sense. You don't want to be leading Pokemon that are both weak to ground so hard in front of what Landorus is, which Aurelian has been leading a lot, and across the set as well. And it's been this duo a lot of the time too. So Aurelian sticking with what they know and what has been great for them.
Well, it's going to be the Alolan Ninetales leaving the field now. Hisuian Arcanine coming in instead, dropping down a valuable Intimidate onto the Ogerpon Half Flame. Of course, Landorus Incarnate doesn't mind too much about that being a special attacker. But Landorus is getting in on out of there anyway, and joining the field instead, it's going to be the Rillaboom. So if there is a Blizzard coming out, it will be taking super effective damage from the Articuno as Grassy Surge gets set up, providing a little bit of recovery at the end of every turn and boosting up Grass-type moves from the Ogerpon and indeed the Rillaboom. It's time, trainers. It's Terastallization coming into Aurelian's Ogerpon, getting that boost to its attack. Having already had the Intimidate, it will be going back up to neutral now, thanks to the Embody Aspect ability. Real fast-paced stuff here, trainers, as it's going to be a Responding Terror coming out from Nikhil, going once more down into that Articuno. It's leaning fully into its Ice typing, shedding its Fire type. Is going to be maximizing the damage output that can be coming out from Blizzard.
Okay, let's see if that is the case. Ivy Cudgel is coming out. Is it into the Articuno or into that Arcanine slot? Yeah, it is the Arcanine slot. Nikhil makes a really, really good switch there. But now the Blizzard. Here we go, trainers. This took down the Rillaboom last time. It does again!
That's a one-hit knockout onto the Rillaboom. And it goes immediately back to Aurelian, but it was able to provide the grassy terrain on the field, which could be huge for Ogerpon later on in the game with its grass-type moves.
And now, what does Aurelian switch in to make the most of this? It is going to be that Landorus that we can see as well, which is obviously a really nice option. Outspeeds that Arcanine really nicely and just locks it down with an Earth Power. However, the Terra's been committed to Ogerpon already, so this Landorus, if it wants to go for that Earth Power, needs to take that Blizzard in return, and Aurelian thinks it's worth it.
It's apparently so. The Ivy Cudgel super effective into the Articuno. It's enough to hang on, thanks to the defense boost provided by the Snow, but the Earth Power double up, that's going to secure the knockout into Articuno, and that is the Terra option down for Nikhil already. Alola Ninetales is in the back, could potentially set up an Aurora Veil later on in this game, but it's 3 Pokemon apiece with a Rock Slide coming out, super effective on the Ogerpon. Okay, so it's able to get the knockout onto Ogerpon. Aurelian down to just 2 Pokemon now.
Yes, and the Landorus is on the field, but when one Ice type goes down for Nikhil, that doesn't mean it's over yet. He can still bring the chills and bring in the Alolan Ninetales now to still threaten this Landorus Incarnate, which is naturally slower than the Alolan Ninetales as well. So probably this Ninetales will still likely outspeed it and be able to threaten a Blizzard into that slot, completely getting rid of it again. So the question is, does Aurelian play around this? Do they hope that the Landorus is faster in this situation as well to be able to take down that Arcanine? Because the Urshifu Single Strike can't do anything about this Fairy type in that Ninetales, especially with the Snow boosting its defense. It's very, very bulky right now.
Well, Arcanine is going to get out of there, and we're going to see the reveal of Nikhil's 4th Pokemon. It's going to be a great friend to Nikhil and a great friend to the battle, the Ogerpon Wellspring Mask. Landorus keeping itself safe this turn. It doesn't like being too cold in this refrigerator. Blizzard is coming out. It's going to be connecting down into the Urshifu at least and breaking the focus hash here. Is there going to be a freeze coming out from the Urshifu? No, there's not. Close combat into the Ogerpon Wellspring, brings it down to about 1/3 of its health, gets a crucial defense and special defense drop, and now Blizzard from the Alola Ninetales heading into this next turn is looking real nice.
Aurelian may need to bank on the Snow running out at some point, and so they may need to go either for a Protect or just hope that the Landorus is fast and powerful enough. Sucker Punch into the Ogerpon does get another KO.
That's the knockout there with Hisuian Arcanine lurking in the back, ready to bound right back onto the field. Here comes the Blizzard. That's going to be enough for the double knockout. We are going to a Game 3.
Nikhil with back against the wall absolutely takes down Aurelian's team with just blizzards both ways. It was a blizzard to double KO earlier in the game and a blizzard again to KO the rest.
Wow, this is nothing to ignore here, trainers. Nikhil Reddy showing that no, this is not a team that's just a joke. It's able to claim a game against Aurelian Soula themselves, the trainer who was runner-up in this very event this time last year, taking it all the way to a Game 3, and we haven't seen, I don't want to speak it into existence, David, but we haven't seen a freeze yet. We also haven't seen the Aurora Veil coming up there yet, though.
No, Aurelian's been able to put on a lot of offensive pressure to be able to stop that sort of thing from happening. And because the games are so quick as well, we're less likely to see a freeze as if it was going to be a little bit longer. And I think that's a really nice way that Aurelian is playing this game to be able to do that, because the more turns you allow Nikhil to position and getting things around, that's more opportunity for freezes, more opportunity to set up with Aurora Veils, and to get Intimidate cycling in onto Aurelian's physical Pokemon. So I think they're playing it really nicely here. However, you could see that the Articuno is still so bulky, being able to take an Ivy Cudgel from that Ogerpon half flame. And we saw the double up at some point, but it was a little bit too late as well. So it seems like the leads are really important in this particular matchup, because as soon as one Pokemon's positioned in the exactly right position, it's threatening a one-hit KO. And so the Landorus on Aurelian's end, as you identified earlier, Charlie, is a really big target for ice moves.
Yeah, huge target. So Aurelian was able to capitalize off the Rillaboom and the Landorus in Game 1, but Game 2, it didn't work out so well. Nikhil showing, well, I will be able to punish you if you do go for that play. So perhaps Aurelian is going to entirely mix it up here. Having said that, Nikhil could do the same, could lean entirely away from the snow mode, trying to catch Aurelian off guard. Well, enough speculation, trainers. It's time. It's the very final game here at the Utrecht special event between Aurelian Soula and Nikhil Reddy. Let's get right into this match as the leads hit the field. Alolan Ninetales and Articuno once more for Nikhil, and once more the Ogerpon Half Flame and Landorus for Aurelian.
Okay, interesting. So it's the same leads as Game 2 here. Now, the Ninetales immediately switched out into that Arcanine to be able to take that Ivy Cudgel that was so powerful before. Question is, does Aurelian go for that again? The Articuno is a lot more safer of a slot, because you know it's most likely wanting to stay in a little bit longer, because it can take the hit and it can threaten more KOs back against the Pokemon, because it's a little bit stronger than the Ninetales is. So does Nikhil go for the same thing, basically? That is the question. But again, Nikhil's team is so interesting because it has like hardly any protects, but because of the bulk that it provides, you don't need needed as much if it can take the hits anyway. So if you're Aurelion, it's honestly a call here wherever you target, because an Arcanine switch-in is pretty safe for Nikhil, especially in, say, the Articuno slot, which is very unlikely to have an Earth Power thrown into it.
Well, let's see if that's the case, and it is going to be the Arcanine joining the field in place of the Articuno there. Could be a huge read if the Earth Power did indeed go into that slot. Ogerpon is going to be getting the attack drop thanks to that scary puppy. Let's Terra Trainers. It's going to be going, it seems, right into the other Ice type that's on the field. The Alolan Ninetales here becoming that Fire type, and there's no Rock type moves to speak of, but there certainly is an Earth Power. Now, Ivy Cudgel into that slot would be dealing resisted damage, but instead, it's going to be the Ogerpon going for the Spiky Shield here. If it's an Earth Power into the Alolan Ninetales, no, it's just going to be a Protect, so a very safe Aurora Veil. This is something Nikhil has not been able to set up yet in this game, and so this could be what turns the tides in Nikhil's favor.
An amazing call there to go straight for that Aurora Veil as that Landorus goes for the Protect. Amazing call for Nikhil, and getting such amazing advantage on top of that. The Aurora Veil is going to last pretty much the rest of the game based on that Light Clay the Ninetales is holding.
Light Clay is going to mean it's going to last for 8 turns, this Aurora Veil, and based on how fast these battles have been so far, that is going to be more than enough. As Rillaboom is once again brought, and that's Arcanine going to the back, and instead coming in its place, that is going to be the Articuno. Let's see if Nikhil called it based on what Aurelian did. Well, first it's going to be the responding Terra coming out from Aurelian. It's time for this Landorus to get grimy. It's going to be going for that Poison Terra type, boosting up the power of its Sludge Bombs and changing its resistances at the same time. It's not going to be taking doubly super effective damage at all from Blizzard anymore, but it's the Blizzard coming out first from the Alolan Ninetales. Huge damage into the Rillaboom. Earth Power was connecting down into what was the Hisuian Arcanine, but that's the Articuno coming in instead, so a huge call from Nikhil.
That is a massive switch yet again. Nikhil being so defensive and so calculated with exactly what he needs to switch in. When you can't protect, all you can do is switch. Nikhil is calling it every time.
And now it's going to be yet another switch coming out from Nikhil, and joining the field instead will be the Ogerpon Wellspring Master. Same 4 Pokemon as in Game 2. Fake Out connecting down into the Articuno. Earth Power resisted by the Ogerpon Wellspring. Nikhil is pivoting around masterfully here.
Yeah, a really another great switch here. Although Aurelion doesn't lose as much from this turn because there's no damage, obviously, and the Fake Out target into the Articuno is fairly safe as well. But now with the Ogerpon on the field, it's going to be able to redirect away any sort of pesky attacks that it might be going for. But Terra is off the board now for Nikhil, and that's been gone into the Ninetales instead. So the Rillaboom is offering a lot of damage with those Grass-type attacks into that Ogerpon particularly as well, but not so much into the Articuno being that flying type, and there's not a lot threatening, honestly. Like, looking at Aurelion's Pokemon, he needs that Ogerpon, rather, to come in and Ivy Cudgel it at some point. So, yeah, the Articuno looks really safe now to just go for another attack.
Articuno is loving being in this snowstorm on the field right now. It protects all round, though. Ogerpon, Wellspring going for the Spike Shield, Rillaboom and indeed Landorus going for the Protect. We know that, well, the Articuno now is going to lock into Blizzard. Aurelian breathing a sigh of relief that it was not that sheer cold coming out from the Articuno, but heading into this next turn, the Protect is going to be burnt on both of Aurelian's Pokemon, so this is valuable information for Nikhil.
Yeah, it definitely is. And also Aurelion kind of going for the Protect, kind of maybe scouting out for that Ogerpon as well, enables them to go for a Grassy Glide into that slot to get a lot of damage out. Even if a switch-in happens, it's still a valuable amount of information, because otherwise Rillaboom goes down without doing much at all. But it looks like Aurelion actually is deciding to save it here.
Yeah, switching it up for the Ogerpon joining the field instead. That is the Ogerpon Half Flame hitting the field now, Mold Breaker activating, and the Ivy Cudgel connecting down instead into the Landorus. That's not going to be a critical hit there. Brought down to about a third of its health. A responding Sludge Bomb coming out into the Ogerpon over on Nikhil's side of the field. It's behind the Aurora Veil, but it's enough for the knockout there. Even behind the Aurora Veil, it is down and out. Nikhil down to 3 Pokemon. Already has all 4, but here comes the Blizzard. That's the Landorus down now, and the Ogerpon taking a sizable chunk there as well.
That is a lot of damage there, but there is no freeze as we keep trying to put it into existence, and the snow is gone this time. But Nikhil has been smart and preserved that Ninetales Alolan form to bring in and set that snow yet again, improving the defense of the Articuno and the accuracy of its Blizzard. So in it comes with that Chandelier on its head. But Urshifu comes in this time for Aurelion, which obviously does a lot of damage here. But looking at how healthy those Pokemon are, I'm not sure if there's going to be any KOs that might happen here.
Yeah, exactly. Behind the Aurora Veil, they are safe, or more safe than they would have been. And the Ninetales is indeed lighting the way with that Fire Terror type. And in fact, it's going to be getting out and providing illumination back in its Pokeball. And Hisuian Arcanine is going to join the fray. Again, only physical attackers out on Aurelian's side of the field, taking an Intimidate drop. That could prove crucial, especially while the Aurora Veil is up. Ivy Cudgel connecting down into the Articuno with the Intimidate. And behind the Aurora Veil, look at how little damage that takes. Wicked Blow is going to get the critical hit right through the Aurora Veil, but the Articuno benefiting from the Ice type defense boost as well. That's Ogerpon down. It's now the Urshifu alongside the Rillaboom here. Nikhil has the Pokemon advantage with 3, and the Aurora Veil is not going anywhere anytime soon. The same cannot be said for the grassy terrain, but Rillaboom is going to bring the meadow right back.
Nikhil's Pokemon are just so bulky, thanks to the setup that has been provided. Ice types are certainly back here, Charlie. Oh my goodness, they are so bulky and putting on so much offensive pressure into so many different types. Fake out, a last-ditch effort for this Rillaboom to try and position this Urshifu where it can.
Well, is it going to be paying off? There's another Wicked Blow into the Articuno. That's enough for the knockout. That's going down. So now it's just the Ninetales and the Hisuian Arcanine on the field right now. Ninetales will be coming out very shortly. This is incredibly close margins here, David.
The Ninetales honestly is looking really strong. There's so many turns of snow left, and it has those moves that it needs to be able to hit into both these Pokemon. Moonblast into Urshifu and Blizzard for this Rillaboom. The Rillaboom's not Assault Vest either, so it will likely go down to another Blizzard at this point, and maybe even the Urshifu as well here. The Arcanine's also in a really solid position to just throw out attacks before the Rillaboom can even go for a Wood Hammer. So the Urshifu making sense here, going on the defensive and going for the Detect.
Just seeing what's going to be happening for a turn, as the Extreme Speed is going to be the move of choice, attempting to break the Focus Sash onto the Urshifu, and now all eyes onto this Alola Ninetales. Is going to be going for the Blizzard into the Rillaboom, and this should... Oh, yes, it is! It's going to be enough for the knockout. Aurelian brought down to just the Urshifu, but it does still have that Focus Sash intact. Oh, no, it does not. The Urshifu is down to about half its health, but there's the Aurora Veil gone. The Alola Ninetales can be setting it up immediately again, though. It all comes down to this turn, David. That's the Extreme Speed.
It doesn't KO.
Hangs on. It's got 4 HP remaining, but the Moonblast is going to be claiming the knockout, and that is going to be Nikhil Reddy, your champion of the Utrecht special event.